Wow. So we got the NRA, nowhere to be found for marijuana, card-holding medical marijuana patients and caregivers alike. So, individuals with state-issued medical marijuana cards may have debilitating illnesses and be less likely to commit violent crimes, according to all statistics and common sense. Yet Congress reasonably concluded that they should not have access to guns because the use of illegal drugs can lead to irrational or unpredictable behavior, the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled on Wednesday. Now, before I go any further, let me just say that the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals probably wasn't your best venue for this. But I don't know. I'm going to look more into that, get back to this when the story develops. The case was brought on by S. Rowan Wilson of Nevada. The Associated Press reports, according to the opinion, she attempted to buy a gun from Custom Firearms and Gunsmithing in 2011, and owner Frederick Hauser concluded that he could not make the transaction because he knew she had a state-issued medical marijuana card. That same year, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, and it should say marijuana on the end of that because marijuana should not be handled in the Controlled Substances Act. So anyway, they published an open letter to all federal firearms licensees, which stated that people who use marijuana, including those with state-issued medical cards, are prohibited from possessing firearms or ammunition. Let me say it again. Are prohibited from possessing firearms and ammunition. Marijuana is considered a Schedule I controlled substance and remains illegal under federal law. That's some wild language there. I'm sure that they didn't bother with lawyers. Anyway, Wilson doesn't use medical marijuana and got the card to show support for its legalization, the opinion states. Sounds legit. Who cares, though? Lawyers will try anything. She argued that the open letter violated her First Amendment rights since registering a card was supporting her view that marijuana should be legalized. So she was trying to First Amendment it. Like, hey, I don't even use weed, I was just First Amendmenting. You're violating my First. She argued that the Second Amendment historically prohibits felons, people with a history of mental illness, and illegal drug users from possessing firearms. She does not fall into any of those categories. The panel rejected Wilson's First Amendment claim and found that if she legally acquired guns before getting a medical marijuana card, federal law would not prevent her from keeping them guns. Didn't this guy up here just say prohibited from possessing firearms or ammunition? I don't know. I don't think this Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals really got it right here. Now, what they're really saying is points of sale in certain situations only when they ask you to fill out a form. And on that form, it has a question on it. It says, do you use illegal drugs or drugs? Do you use mind-altering substances or something to that effect? I've never filled one out, so I don't know. Have I ever bought guns before? Of course, it's America. You can buy guns. You can buy guns at pawn shops, no background check, no registration. You can buy guns just about anywhere, online, at gun shows, blah, blah, blah. You can even buy guns that are pretty scary. Alright, so in addition, Wilson could acquire firearms and exercise her right to self-defense at any time by surrendering her marijuana registry card, thereby demonstrating to a firearms dealer that there was no reasonable cause to believe she is an unlawful drug user. Now, in her situation, I would say, yeah, that sounds reasonable. If not, you're just arguing for the sake of arguing. I mean, yeah, she was getting a med card to exercise her First Amendment right, doesn't even use marijuana. All right, so cool. Throw your med card away. Go get a gun. I don't know. I mean, I think we live in a world where lawyers are just trying to push people's buttons sometimes. But her lawyer, Chaz Rainley, had a different thing to say about it. He says they plan to appeal the opinion, for one. And you know what that means. Supreme Court, maybe? because this is the what, Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. I don't know where we go from there, but all the way up. The lawyer was quoted as saying, "We live in a world where having a medical marijuana card is enough to say you don't get a gun. But if you're on a no-fly list, your constitutional right is still protected." Actually, though, I think the DOJ, like Loretta Lynch and the FBI, James Comey, duked it out over that. I think Comey's position was that they wanted to let terrorists basically be able to purchase firearms, and then so they can keep following them, racking up more charges, maybe catch them while they were driving around with their gun. I don't know. I think we learned from Bush and Obama era stuff that they call gun running does not work, where you let cartel people buy guns from undercover agents, you sell guns to terrorists just to see what they're going to do next, or I don't even know what, to track them, follow the guns somewhere. Time and time again, that's came to backfire on our asses and literally kill agents in the field, whatever. It's just a terrible idea, dumbest idea ever. Besides selling weapons to people and thinking they're our friends outright. I mean, at least here you have an illusion that you're tracking the weapons. But meanwhile, I'm getting off subject here. Why are you telling me I can't go buy a gun? And where is the fucking NRA? Hey, NRA, you're supposed to be there to protect people's Second Amendment rights. That's what your job is. Now you have people that run a grow operation like mine. I'm not a bad person. I'm not out there hurting nobody. I'm a really peaceful individual. I run a clean farm. I don't have any illegal activities going on here. I have my patients are all happy people that get their meds for free. I'm not a nuisance to the neighbors or the public. And I certainly am not a dangerous person. I have nothing in the way of any charges anywhere in my record. I am clean. Why am I not able to have a firearm to protect my property with? Seems like you would want people to be able to protect their own property, because there's people out there trying to steal my property. So, of course, I want to protect it. They might break into my house thinking I'm not home. What am I going to do? Now, there was that part where, if you bought the guns before, then you're good to go. Don't worry about it. You got them. You're good. And then, like I said, you can buy them anywhere anyway. Legally. I'm not talking about from the street guy over here that sells meth and heroin and guns. I'm just talking about you can go somewhere and buy a gun legally. It's not illegal, man. So to say that you got to go through the proper channels and then you can't because you got to write this questionnaire and you're like, I got a med card, what do I do? Well, apparently you got to wait for the Supreme Court to tell you can buy that gun. I'm kind of like on the fence with gun control, abilities for the government to have laws that control guns. If you have this thing called the Second Amendment around, it's never going to happen. So the bad guys always get the guns, and meanwhile, you're literally making rules saying that good guys can't have guns. Where's the fucking NRA, man? Where are you at? Alright? I see you, like, come out whenever there's a shooting and the president, whoever it is like, oh man, this sucks. I wish we can put some laws on the books to at least make it look like we did something, which, if you look at what they propose, it doesn't seem like any of it would ever get anything accomplished. Short of just some kind of a Orwellian situation where literally black helicopters fly out of the skies on everybody's houses and try to take their guns at once, because that's the only fucking way they would ever be able to take guns away from everybody. Even then, it would probably not work because everybody's got fucking guns, man. Oh man, YouTube's gonna not monetize this clip ever, but I'm gonna tell you one more time, this is the most bullshit thing I've seen in a while. For just no apparent reason. It's like, alright, we're going to test the waters on this and see if we're allowed to have guns. And then they're like, no, you can't have them. And then they're like, bullshit, let's appeal this. So they take it to the appeals court, and the appeals court's like, no, really, you can't have them. And then meanwhile, the NRA's still silent as shit, and I can't even hear a cricket over there. Nothing. And so we're going to go to the Supreme Court with this. What is they trying to make me go vote for Hillary because Trump might put a Supreme Court guy in there that's going to make it, because right now it's 4-4, so we got to get somebody over there on the left so they can make this. No, because not even the Democrats give a shit about this. This is just like you're out in the wind blowing around wondering if you're legal or not with this or that. And I'll tell you this, I already know because the guns I have a shotgun and an old ass beyond 100-year-old rifle and a crossbow. That's legit. I ain't worried about that. Those aren't even considered firearms by the freaking people that regulate what is and isn't firearms. You can go buy those at the pawn shop. You don't got to register that. Anyway, I just don't. I don't get these decisions. I mean, I do. They're like weed bad, right wingers, old people. These are the kind of people that are in the government, man. Even the people that say they're Democrats are not left leaning on most issues that we care about. To them, the issues that they cared about, and they became a liberal for, they've long since been, good to go, and they don't need to fight anymore. And they're like, oh, hey, we got our way, we're happy. I wonder what that was. When was that? What was it so great that made them just say, oh, I'm good? It's almost like a privilege thing. Like I got what I need. I can just sit back and relax now. Meanwhile, there's people still getting locked up for weed. People still getting locked up for dumb little misreads on laws and stupid rules like this. Who knows if someone, protecting their farm. I think I just read a story coming out of Colorado where somebody was breaking into somebody's grow facility and it ended up with somebody getting shot. Probably the grow facility operator shot the person trying to steal. I don't know. Whatever happened, it's ugly. But if someone was breaking in here and they had a gun, I wouldn't want to be sitting here in the middle of nowhere in where I live, which is in the middle of nowhere, without a gun. That would be like, no. All right, I'm out of here.